Welcome in. I'm going to be talking to you about a possibility of getting a quarterback since the Jared Curtis debacle. We're looking at Bryson Beaver. He is a 2026 Oregon commit, but when Dylan Raiola decided to commit to Oregon behind Dante coming back as well, this kid was able to get out of his letter of intent and has now put himself into the portal already as a short-term guy that's not even been with Oregon since the committal date when he signed his letter of intent starting in January, because he's basically coming in as a mid-year kid. And now he is looking to portal to the University of Georgia, and this be a fit for us at the quarterback position. Now, you've got to understand that we've got Coulter Ginn, you've got Hezekiah Millender, you've got Ryan Montgomery and Ryan Puglisi, which all, to me, fit a very tight narrative when it comes to the quarterback competition at the University of Georgia. So bringing this kid in, there's uniqueness when you watch film because you're always going to see the best of what they have on film. So what I try to do is look at the technique and design of what he does, because, I'm going to definitely give you all the comps. He can spin the football. He's got pretty decent footwork. His ability to move in the pocket is really nice because he's got a very tall stature. He's not afraid to run with a football. And, of course, when he lets it go, he can definitely spin it. His arm strength's very good. He's got a good quick release. So there's a lot of things I can tell you about. But what I want to do is look at the entirety of what we see here, his whole body of work that we have here on film. The first thing you want to see on film is obviously the ability to throw the football, what his arm strength looks like. I like the fact that he's accurate with the football. Obviously, everything on film that you're going to see is going to show that with what he does. But, if you look at him, he has a very tall frame. What I like about it is that I noticed on a couple of his actual sets, he's lazy with his footwork. I'd like to see him gather himself a little bit quicker. But when he's able to set up in the pocket and take that long stride and release the football, he is highly accurate with it. So this is something that you can see. He's coming off screen right here, but as he gathers himself and throws the football, highly accurate right there to his receiver. His receivers are a little bit on the smaller side, so their catch radius is going to be a little bit smaller. So for him to show that accuracy, I really like. Here, him having the ability to run with a football, you always want to see a prolific pocket passer who can sling it, who has a good release, still have the ability to scramble and extend plays with his legs. The one thing I notice is that he seems to have a decent pocket presence, so therefore he can feel when he has that pressure coming from the lateral side, which typically a lot of quarterbacks don't have in common sense, and he's not afraid to put his hat down and run over you. I like the way I see his look right here. His commitment on this throw right here is uncanny. He's going to get basically the over-under, so you got a high-low, you got a hitch with an out route right here, and this kid makes a great break on the football, but he wants to throw right off the cut. So he's not waiting for him to get open. He's anticipating that window, which, believe it or not, is something I think that Gunnar Stockton is really struggling with right now in the pocket and having the ability to see these windows to throw to him. You think he's got the pick, and because he throws it when he does, it would have been a pick if he'd have waited just an extra second, but they decided to, see this explosive play here. I do like his footwork when it's pretty, like right there. That's what you want to see is the get off. I wish I could be able to see him a little bit more as they get on. I wish the guy who's ever filming, they don't keep him in the picture very well. But for example, I want you to watch his feet. You'll be able to see his feet before he goes off the screen. Watch his feet. That's what you want to see in the footwork. And as he steps up and delivers a strike that only his kid can catch. That kid right there is probably no more than 5'10", 5'9", 5'10", and he puts it in a perfect spot on the post route. That's what I'm saying. When you gather and you set up and you don't have to necessarily overstride, you're not going to sell the football and have the ability to put it in the receiver's gut there. Now, this is something that, again, he tends to do a little bit more than I would like to see. There's a little bit of showboating. When I watched Jared Curtis and I was looking at all the things that he was doing, similar to what we have here with this gentleman, is that I look at the level of competition he's playing. When you look at Vista, Murrieta, I believe is where he's at in California, is his high school. This is his senior film. Obviously, he's only been in college now since January, and now he's transfer portal, and it could be coming to Georgia here. But, that's the kind of deal. I think he might have called this out of bounds. I never got a chance to see if the ref actually called this or not. But, I just see a guy that's coming across from the West Coast to the East Coast and being able to come in and acclimate to the Georgia way of doing things. But, the way I see things here is that I see a kid who has a very prolific set of specs, probably one of the quicker releases that I've seen in a quarterback. And his accuracy is uncanny when he's able to set up in the pocket and throw the football. So even if that was incomplete, that's still very accurate. But, like I said right there, a little bit lazier in his footwork. You'll notice a couple of times where he doesn't really get necessarily as much as I'd like to see, that quicker feet to get back there. But, don't carry the ball around like a loaf of bread. But still, very nimble with his feet, and able to move around and make people miss. So I like the pocket present awareness. That's something that's important to me as well. We'll look here and see what we got out of trips 3x1. We're in pistol, like his footwork. See, a little lazy right there. I'd like to see him kick back a little bit quicker. But it's still a very nice pack and go right there on the 9 route to his receiver. And what I mean by that is when you come out of your pocket, when you're in pistol, you really only got about a 3-step drop. When you do that, you're going to see that sometimes if you're lazy on that 3-step drop, it'll make the arm sink. And a lot of times that will cause it to fall down and cause you to sell the football. But, like I said, when you have it, you have it. And you have some days where you'll miss hit a golf ball and still hit it down the middle of the fairway. So I'm not sitting here saying that it's, imperfect, but it would be nice to see a little bit quicker feet on that. But still a very nice, accurate throw on the 9 route right there. I do like his release. He gets the ball out quick. He does have sort of a little hitch off the side. He doesn't come over the top. It looks like he's going to, but he kind of comes from the side a little bit more than what you think. But still, though, that release point, the minute the ball gets back, it's out. Accuracy is very good right there as well. I would like to see on film, and that's something I did not see through the prolifics of what I got on film. I didn't see a lot of over the middle type stuff, the intermediate type routes. There's a couple of them. You've got a post that you saw him throw a while ago. There he is running the football again, being very nimble in the pocket. Let's see if we get this right here. He steps up and able to see. That's something that a lot of kids can't do because they don't look down the field when they're scrambling. A lot of times that's where you can find open receivers because he's got a toss that. Well, there you go. Now that's what you want to see right there is being able to anticipate that window pocket right there. And that's something that's important with him being as tall as he is. He's 6'4". They're going to say I think they say 6'3.5", 195 pounds. Realistically, with his shoes on, you're going to see 6'4". He's going to eat in the lunchroom. He's going to get bigger, faster, stronger. We're going to see him at 6'4", 200 pounds, 205 pounds. But I like that throw. That is anticipating a guy to be there. And this kid ain't very big either. I mean, it's a hell of a catch, too, by that kid. But that's something that you don't, think about it. He's ready to throw this football now. Look where he is and look where the linebacker's at. Very unique to think, hey, I've got a window right here. I'm actually going to be a point guard and be able to put it in a place where the defender doesn't know where it's at and be able to get it to my slot guy there who makes, like I said, one hell of a catch right there. But that's nice to see throwing over the middle right there. Here's rollout rodeo. I like seeing his speed. Let's see if he ends up coming. Yep, there you go. He's got his head up. He's still looking down the field to be able to find an open receiver off the scramble right there. So, again, I like that as well. Being able to have the head knowledge, being very cerebral with the football. Man, he just took a shot right there. Holy cow. That's something you like to see, too, a little bit of toughness. He's got a guy that's free. Now, a lot of people say, oh, he's screwed. That's on him. He's got him. If they pass pro this correctly, sometimes they're bringing more than you can block, and you got a responsibility of saying, you know what, that's my guy. I'm either going to, A, make him miss, or I'm going to deliver the football and take a shot. And right here, he delivers the football, and he takes a shot off this. See how accurate it is down the field, I would assume. Oh, my God, what a catch. That's a one-handed pack and go right there. Now, when you talk about pack and go, this is something I used to do with my receivers and quarterbacks every day. I would make my kids catch the ball over their outside shoulder. So I would make them work to design, no matter how the quarterback threw it, I would make them work to catch it over their outfield shoulder with both hands down to work on a play just like this right here. He's holding his other hand, so hell, he does a one-handed pack and go right there. What a hell of a catch, but still a lot of accuracy that you see here. Here's rollout again on rodeo. It's going to see if he's outrun that linebacker. Yep, he's going to get there. Good deal. That's nice to see. I don't think he's necessarily scooting with a 6'4" frame, but that's still a very large human being moving fairly fast right there. So mobility is very important that you want to see in your QB and having the ability. You can see, to me, when he has that want to, like his pre-snap recog, when I'm looking at 2x2 ace right here, I sit there and think to myself, okay, he knows where he wants to go with the football in the middle field now. It's not like he's thinking, okay, when I get the football, I'm going to read it. I already know where I want to go with the football right now. And he pulls it and hits it because they must be a cover 2 trap team, and that's what they're running right here. You can tell they're sitting. You're going to have these corners looking like they're in man press, and they're pulling off in 2 trap, and he reads it and hits it right in the hole between the corner and the safety. That's beautiful, man. Great accuracy, good throw, good footwork, and something I'm very impressed with right here. That release is very, holy cow, man. This is probably one of my most favorite plays when you have apex defenders and you occupy in trips. You can do it in 2, but when you go 2x2, tendency wise, you get the safety symmetrically over the top of your 2 guys. I love reading this look right here because you can look away and hold that safety for that second and get it over the top. And they actually look like they've got a 2 safety high look right here. So, that's impressive to me as well, that he's able to deliver that football to a smaller kid. Must have great hands, good trust for his quarterback, and make a hell of a catch. But again, very accurate throw, very thorough throw, and obviously does a really good job of getting it to his receiver. So, when I go back and look at his body of work, I'm very impressed. Overall, does he spin it? Yes, there's no doubt about it. He spins it. He's got a pretty decent release when he's got good footwork and a good pocket presence. I really would be interested to see continually how he works with, the strength of seeing what he does in the pocket and being able to deliver those plays when you have, a really good pass rush coming at you. But honestly, when I look at all the things that he incorporates into his game, he checks a lot of boxes to me. There's no doubt about it. I think when you put him into a Georgia program, it's no different than what you're doing with Ryan Montgomery, what Ryan Montgomery is, because I think Ryan Montgomery has probably one of the best releases I've seen of the recruits we got. Puglisi's got a decent release and he's got good arm strength, but I think Ryan Montgomery has a quicker release than Puglisi does. And this kid right here shows that same deal. And when he lets it go, man, it gets out of the hand quick. There's not a lot of, extra movement in that. And that's something you like to see in a quarterback when he's made up his mind to be able to throw the football. He really does a good job of that. There's that one again. I want to go back to that slant over the middle, man. That absolutely just that was sweet. I'm gonna try to get back to it here. Oh, right here. And then I'll close out with this one right here. But man, this is something that's really special when you have a kid who's looking at this right here and thinks to himself, you know what? I'm going to make this throw because I know where he's going to be and I know where he's going to go. With his eyes here, that holds that linebacker long enough to know that he's going to throw it in that window. And this right here, to me, is what separates him and makes him special. Even though I know he's only a 3-star recruit, we haven't heard of him. I know that right now we're looking to get this kid, and there's something special about what this kid can do. So making those kind of throws right there, to me, just makes him to be an added asset to the quarterback class, taking what Jared Curtis left. Now that Jared Curtis has got that kid from the transfer portal that just came into Vanderbilt, so now he's no longer just coming in and going to have the spot just due to the fact that he signed up with them. So, again, this is Bryson Beaver out of Vista Marietta High School in California, and a lot of good things to see on tape here. So if you're a Georgia fan, I really do think we've got a good fit here in Athens.